Well, that was obviously tough to watch. Just way too many mistakes, penalties, drops, not being able to convert on third down, conversely, not getting off the grass on third down, struggles in the red zone, starting the game out, I want to say 4 3-and-outs. It's hard to get into a rhythm offensively. And then, when we need a stop or whatever, we weren't able to do that, although I do think that our defense did provide and special teams did provide some opportunity for us when it was 24-10 to have an opportunity to come back in that game, which you got to capitalize on those ops, and we have not been able to do that. So extremely disappointed, and we'll find out what everybody in that locker room, what we're all made of. So.
Matt, when you look at your team right now, what do you see?
I just see a lot of mistakes. Quite frankly, we've killed ourselves with penalties, drops. We have opportunities to make plays, on the defensive side, and some we make and some we don't. Certainly, the third down was a problem today. I do see a group of men that continues to fight. So that is, if there's anything to hang your hat on, and that we have to continue to fight and scratch and claw and try to find ways to improve. I know everybody's frustrated. I'm frustrated. It's certainly not for a lack of effort, but ultimately that only gets you so far. You got to go out there and execute and give yourself an opportunity to win games. And it's disappointing, especially being back in Lambeau, to not be able to find a way to win.
So is there a point where it can't just be young guys making mistakes, and these are things that...
Yeah, we're not even talking that game, young guys game. We're focused on just whoever's out there, the expectation is the same. So, we've played, 8 games now, or 7 games, whatever it is. I'm not interested in that. I think that's an excuse. We'll never do that. We're just going to continue to find ways to try to keep improving, and it starts in practice. And you get a good week of practice, then you go out and play well. And I do think the practices have been, competitive and such like that. But we're not obviously getting the results that anybody wants.
What prompted you to go to Yash there in the second quarter?
I just felt like we needed a change.
So how do you address all these things at once? If you emphasize one or two things, you get what you emphasize. How do you address them all?
Well, I think certainly the lack of disciplined play, and that's paramount, because it doesn't matter if what you're doing if we're getting called for things. Like we got to clean it up. There was. We get holding penalties or whatever it is, false start penalties, backs us up. We already know get back on track situations have been very tough for us. Defensively, there were a couple penalties. I know one was on a critical third down where you get called for roughing the passer. So we just, it's never one person, it's never one guy. It just collectively as a whole, we got to look each other in the eye and we got to demand better, and we need to get better.
You guys have been so well in the red zone. When you get down there today, when you got down there, didn't work out. Was there anything missing that you saw out there?
Yeah, I know that we had a critical drop, going in with an opportunity to cut it to a one-possession game. If we get down there in the 1 yard line, we try to run it in, and that wasn't working, obviously. We got to go back to the drawing board. I got to take a look at the tape and try to find out some better answers for our guys, because whatever we're doing is not working.
And on a couple of those 3rd and longs, and then even the 4th and long when Jordan runs, are you okay with that, or would you rather see him try to, especially on the 4th down, maybe to try to actually wait it out and find something?
It's just those are always tough, and I know he's battling. They were playing, everybody was pretty much in the end zone, so the play's off schedule. But I think that is one where, looking at it, you just try to buy as much time as you can, because it is going to be tough to scramble. It's different, I think, if you're in the open field, you might have an opportunity. It's just hard when there's not as much field to defend, and those guys can run up and make a play. So, you know, but in the heat of the moment, you got to do what you think, and he thought he could get there, and he ended up, a couple yards short, and it is what it is. Hopefully we're not putting ourselves in those situations. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care where you're at on the field when it's 4th and 16 or whatever it was. Those are really tough situations to overcome. And we just had a lot of those today. We were in 3rd and long for a lot of the game. And it's gonna be tough sledding when you're in those situations.
What did you think of Jordan Love today, and where do you feel like he's trending? Where has he been trending the last few weeks?
Well, I think that, you know, there's some plays that obviously, I say this every week in terms of there's going to be a couple plays that you want back, but also, like, we got to make some plays for him too. I think we had like 6 drop balls. That's going to be tough to overcome. We got to catch it. We got to throw it better. We got to catch it better. We got to block better. We got to stop having penalties that knock us back and put us in these obvious pass situations. We got to find a way to convert a 3rd down early in the game so you can run your offense. I mean, we're running 2-minute offense for half the game. So you don't even get into the what you work on all week and what you plan for. You can't even get into your normal rhythm because you're not moving the chains. So that's what's disappointing. You put all this time and effort into something, and you come up with a plan, and you don't even give yourself a chance to go execute it. We're playing 2-minute ball the whole second half.
Matt, last year you guys lost 5 in a row, and I know you said you're not going to use the young guys as an excuse, but those guys last year had a little more to lean on. This year, not as much. What's your message to the team as they try and climb out of this hole?
Keep working.
Matt, going back to Jordan for a second, it felt like one of the areas he had made the most improvement had been the indecisive equals ineffective thing. He seemed more decisive. Is he struggling? I don't know what's happening downfield all the time, but does it feel to you like he's maybe being a little more indecisive again right now?
I don't know. I got to go back and look at all the plays. It's tough to tell sometimes when you're in the heat of the battle because you can't see everything from the sideline in regards to you don't know how clean the pocket is in front of him. Was there something that made him get off a read? So it's really hard to sit here and give you a really good evaluation without going back and watching the tape. But it felt like for the most part the protection was pretty solid. But we just I got to go back and look at it, and obviously always going to be critical as the play caller, making sure that we're giving our guys opportunities to make plays. It did not feel like we had as many mental errors today. It felt like our guys were running the correct routes, and so it wasn't for that. It's just we just got to go back and look at everything.